Whoops. Oh, hello everyone. I'm finally back streaming. So yeah, this is pretty much all. And today I will be continuing on the monsters that I have started. Like I have no idea when. It feels like it was like half a year ago or something like this. I know it was not like that long ago, but still it feels like it. Uh, I absolutely don't remember. I only need to mute this one. I absolutely don't remember what I have done last, so I will just continue where I think I left, and I will do the troll because I think previously I have done the ogre, and now I will do the troll because I just feel like it. Or maybe I will do the cyclop. Yeah, I will do the troll. I already made a file for it. So image size, let me go a little bit higher with proportions and everything. So yeah, long story short, a lot of work needed to be done, but hopefully I will manage to like stream a little bit more regularly and hopefully finish this challenge. So also if anyone is new in here, feel free to like mute me and just draw alongside with me. It's nothing too crazy. Let me just save this bad boy and drawing. And I will just try to draw this fella. So did the file. Yeah, now the file saved. So yeah, I don't think I do need an original reference to see them. I do have those. And I do have those. So basically what I am doing is doing this fella. So I will just slap him in here. So he will be in here, and yeah, now I can pretty much just do him nicely. So if anyone has any questions whatsoever, or you are interested in anything, you want to, I don't know, ask for opinion on any topic that you can imagine, feel free to ask me. If not, most likely I will like at some point forget about talking, and I will just continue drawing while being quiet. So again, feel free to just mute me and to draw alongside with me. This way, most likely it will be a bit easier for you to focus or do anything like creative or whatever. Also, if, as I said, if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. If you have an artwork that you would like me to see or to get a critique on, like, or a small paint over, feel free to leave a link to it, most likely on Twitch stream, because there I can open the links. On YouTube it is impossible, or I think it is impossible. So yeah, and I have no idea how I am going to do this, guys. I remember I had a plan like 3 or 4 weeks ago how I wanted to approach them. The only thing that I remember is I will draw them. I will try to not use a lot of 3D. I will be using 3D for the city because I like bought some tutorials and I already started learning how to like pretty much do this. So most likely I will just try to draw as much as possible. So maybe it will look a little bit more drawn or whatever. I started enjoying the style where like you draw everything, you shade everything, like kinda if you were drawing, and then that you paint over it. It leaves a nice quality for a drawing, and I feel it is like an appropriate thing to do in here. Also, most likely I will deviate from the design of this guy. Let me also make the background a bit darker, so it's not like blinding everyone. I will deviate from the design because I remember then, like previously, I wanted to be to keep it a little bit more true to the original source. But today when I opened it, I felt like, like some things could be really easily improved, like design wise. So most likely, if I will feel something just feels better or definitely will look better, I will just like simply improve it and don't really worry about a source reference that much. So So yeah, this is the plan for today. And I will try to like tackle everything on the same time, so it will be a little bit of like anatomy, a little bit of like line drawing, a lot of topics covered in the same time. And again, if you are someone who is like learning or just trying to do their best while doing art, if you can like tackle multiple topics at the same time, it might be beneficial, because it will like, you are not in a rush, you are not in a hurry to finish as soon as possible. So this way you basically make sure that you will be able to learn a bit more. So in this case I could like make a 3D model, a sculpture, take some photos with the references, study some things about it. There's like a lot that things that could be done to generally improve on this fella. But the one of the things that I really want to improve on is like, in the end, it's drawing. I am using quite a lot of 3D for other stuff, so I don't want to have tons of 3D in here. So yeah. And recently I have been enjoying drawing like more and more. So this is like the reason why I kind of want to continue this path. So yeah. Also, if there are any like technical problems with the stream, let me know in the chat or whatever, because I really like to collect technical problems on these live streams. Usually something is not working, so if everything is fine, then it's cool. If something is not fine, the sooner you will let me know, the quicker I will be able to address it. So yeah. Yeah, and for the design of this guy, because the reference basically looks like a normal fella, he does not look like any special in a sense. I kind of wanted to keep all the dreadlocks and everything, like all the things that is happening on his head, but in a little bit more disorganized manner, so it won't be like a really nice braids, I believe, like tied with a band or whatever. I want them to be a little bit more like feral and wild, so it mostly will be like naturally forming dreadlocks that are somewhat like made on purpose, but I don't want them to be like extremely like beautiful. And about the entire body, since he is like carrying a stone that he is going to throw, he's basically like carrying with like one arm. One side of the body will be slightly more muscular than the other side, and yeah, this is like the idea for it. Also, for the facial features, I really wanted to keep the large nose in here, and a really strong like jawline and everything. Mine will be a little bit more fat on a face. I feel like it will fit the character a bit more. So yeah, and also before adding any type of like details and decals, I will first redraw like the entire body, and then I will start adding all the like stuff that is around him. Maybe even I will even add hair as a separate layer, so I will just draw him without any hair first. So this way I will have like more control over the entire thing, which is actually I think, in my opinion, a quite smart move, because this way if I want to like redesign something, then I like have everything intact. I don't need to like redraw some things that are like basically missing. So yeah, this is it. Also, I was thinking about removing the cam from the screen, because I don't really feel it serves any purpose whatsoever. And also later, if I will try to like edit maybe the videos, or to like just download them and re-record them to make like a quicker time lapse or whatever, it will be much easier to do actually, without like having my face in a circle. So this is a thing. I have honestly no idea how I approach like live streams and everything when I see a face or when I don't see a face in terms of art, because like the thing in here is important, not what I look like or whatever. So I don't have any opinion. Maybe like if any of you prefer a cam to be in here, like a face cam to let me know. If it does not really matter for you, I will see if I will like keep it. So yeah, and this fella will have a huge traps because he's carrying like a lot of rocks, a lot of stones, a lot of like shit like that. So his like face, neck and everything is quite like huge. He's like a big dude, kind of like a bodybuilder type of a build. And this one, especially from all the characters in this castle, I can imagine will be a little bit more ripped. So he is somewhat fat, but he won't be like obese fat type of a creature. He will be shredded a bit. I just feel like carrying and holding all the stones, doing most likely a lot of like going down to pick up a stone and just throwing it, is a little bit more athletic than just throwing stones and shit like this. So I can imagine it will justify a little bit better body composition in a sense. And also, since this guy is like a troll and he likes rocks, maybe he even eat some of the rocks, maybe they like munch on the rocks. And I have no idea how many calories the rocks like a rock has, but I don't feel they are like really nutritious. I honestly have no idea how many calories like minerals have. So if they do have any calories whatsoever, they should have something, but how much? Not a single clue. So I feel this is like one of the reasons why he can actually be a little bit more shredded. And for the anatomy, I want to keep it somewhat like realistic, reasonable, but if some parts of the anatomy will just like will be off, then I won't have like many problems with it. I'll just like let it be. The clavicular will go like this. So yeah, like a bicep or whatever. And recently, in the recent updates from Adobe in Photoshop, the Photoshop has like a really bad tendency now to like constantly freeze. So if I will have to like turn off and on the live stream, I mean not the live stream, the Photoshop document several times in a row, it can happen. As I said, basically the recent updates from Adobe are like absolutely trash. They only like broke a lot of things. Nothing is really fixed. I feel like with every single update it's working worse and worse. So yeah. For the pelvic area, first I will just try to draw him in like kind of like a pants. So I will be able to like later give him like a proper clothing. I'm not sure how this area would look like. I really rarely draw monsters in like underwears. Usually there's like this like piece of cloth, piece of loin hanging around there. So yeah. And as always, after like doing like a drawing like this, later I will ask some friends of mine for a critique, for a paint over or whatever. So I will make sure that the thing is going in the right direction. In here, this place is a bit tricky because there's like an area where the pec is connecting to the arm bone, like it goes like across in here and connects like underneath it. So it's always like a bit weirder area to include in a drawing because a lot of stuff is happening in here. So it's really hard to like draw one line that basically like connects to everything. Usually it requires a bit more stuff to happen in here. But on the side of my screen I do have like a small like reference with the anatomy and everything, so I can always like look at it and just try to like match it best to my abilities. Yeah, so this is how it goes at the moment. And again, this thing is meant to be like practice mostly, so I won't really stress over it like for it being extremely perfect. The most important thing is that I have fun while doing it. So this is the thing. This is the main goal. So if you do have any like critiques or whatever, if you see that something is off and you feel something could look better, let me know. It's also a really cool thing to get a feedback from you. Since again, I don't know everything and there's always a lot of room to improvement. And all the critics and everything are really welcome. So a knee, definitely one of the harder areas to draw. I need to lead up the references on my site to see them better. Give me a second. Whoops. Bottles falling. See if I don't lead them up. Pretty much don't see them at all. And with the knees, especially with the knees, I do need every single help that I can get because knees are just hard to be drawn. There are some tips how to approach them, so like drawing 4 like circles, but it's still like practice and practice in this case. So it looks nice. Also for the other things that I started doing, I finally started like properly doing my own IP. So the topic that I started as my like master thesis at Academy of Fine Arts, I finally picked it up again and decided to like go on with it. So most likely soon I will be able to like post some updates on it to like show maybe some parts of the world that I wanted to like design and do and everything. So hopefully I will be able to like continue on everything that I want to do. The arm. And for this also fella, I feel he should have like claws because they are like digging a lot in the ground and just like wearing their nails while digging for all the like hard stuff and everything. But I also feel the claws should be a little bit like not sharp, not really pointy on the end, because they are like wearing them off. They are like wearing out all the stuff. So now I'm trying to use my hand as a reference. So yeah, some of the parts of course will be a little bit more sketchy than the others. Like a normal thing to happen. But I feel there are some improvements that could be done in this general area. So yeah. So sometimes I will just go a little bit more rough on some areas to later like refine it in the further stages of a drawing or painting. Okay. So it does go like this. And also from other things that are like mildly interesting. I started doing a new program at the gym, and knowing my luck, most likely it means soon they will like close all the gyms because of the new variant of this Omicron type of a thing. Because recently, like a year ago or 2 years ago, or I don't even remember when the corona started, whenever I picked up a new training, they were closing the gyms. So if they will make like another lockdown, most likely it will be just on me. So it will be like my fault because I started a new training and it basically just forces the lockdown to happen. So like the next lockdown is my fault, most likely. I knew the risk, but I took it. So yeah. And also a really cool approach for doing stuff like this. This is like also a little bit of obvious thing to know, but do I have some references for the hands in here? No, 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 no. Oh, I do have Ben Pollack reference, so I will take it. Because Ben Pollack as an absolute unit definitely is a helpful reference. So it's basically the same picture. Most likely the dude on the like Ben is a little bit stronger than the troll. So yeah. I was thinking if I thought maybe I have some references for the arms, but turns out I don't. But this is okay. And as always, references are important. You can just see the stuff the way you cannot see it without it. So for example in here, now I see I wanted to like maintain this line. So I can like draw the line, slowly like erase it here and there. But I kinda wanted this character to have this a little bit more like barrel shaped core. So it's a bit fuller, and also it allows me to see there's a line that needs to be in here, and it pretty much solves the entire area in here. So as you can see, the chesticles of Ben are extremely huge, like cartony huge at this point. So yeah, I wonder how it will look in here. Can imagine something along those lines. And this is a bit of a tricky muscle. I always had problems with it. There's like connection in here and then like a triangle in here. Weird ass shape. Tricep basically is like covering the half of, well, arm. Then there is brachioradialis, I believe, and a bicep. But the bicep will like go in a little bit more. But this area kind of shows that you can have like a pec that is basically like a line. And then also for this character, the shape of a pec that I can really imagine would fit, because some of the pectorals are like kind of like the superhero type of a chests where it kind of looks like this. But in this case, I kind of feel the kind of more like sad type of a shape of a chest, kind of like going a little bit down, something like this, going up and down. Will look a little bit better. So yeah, I will try to stick to roll with this one. I could make the reference a bit in the under layer a little bit more subtle. Symmetry off. And also you can see how huge the traps are, so most likely they will connect somehow somewhat similarly. And the back of the head could be a little bit more like rounded. So yeah, here is a huge stroll. And also it gives me a really nice idea on the placement of the muscles and on the knee, because again, drawing knees is just hard. Anatomy of knee is not actually extremely complex, but it's just hard. Hello, Miblert. All is fine. Managed to get back on track slowly with everything that is happening in life. So I will be able to live stream and draw a little bit more. So everything is like cool, fine and dandy. I would say. Knuckles and everything like in here in the hand area can be much thicker, because the character is like again using the hands a lot. I'm not sure how actually the hand will like wrap around in here. I can imagine the grab will be quite uncomfortable. So it goes like here. And also one of the things that make it easier to distinguish an artist that is like really good and has like a lot of practice and everything is they don't really spend a lot of time searching for the shape. They kind of know what type of a shape will be like good and stuff like this. So yeah, this is why like some pros they can just basically do like 10 sketches like in no time, because for example they don't need to think about the area of this area, they don't need to like look up on the references, they will just know how the muscle will behave or where to press with the pen, so it will give a better like visual cue on how the thing could look like. So yeah, but basically all boils down to the more you do, the faster you get in it. Some things of course you can kind of cheat, so for example in here, because again this is like a troll that is dealing a lot with like rocks and stones and everything, I can imagine also his knees being a little bit more like harder and having much thicker skin. So over all the small bones that are, I mean, over the big joints that are in here, but all the small details, I can like fake a texture over it, so the general thing will look a little bit better. It will be just thicker type of a thing. Also for this type of a character, remember, if you want to show the like deep striations and everything, it requires the character to be like kind of dehydrated, have a really low body fat and relatively thin skin, so the muscles can like show up. If you are doing a monster that is just like naturally living in rocks and is generally like just hard monster type of a thing, most likely its skin is going to be much thicker, and thick skin will basically make it impossible for the striations to appear, or will make it significantly harder. So keep it in mind if you are doing like some sort of a design, to accidentally not give the creature like a bodybuilder type of a features, because like, you know, anatomy. I think usually like suggesting some muscles but keeping it a little bit more grounded, like real, is a better way to go. I don't say it's the best way to go, but I would say it is a bit better approach to go with if you are going to design something that must look at least a bit more interesting. So, like legs. I feel like 3 fingers, 3 toes is enough for this character. Kinda want to show that he's like walking on all 3. Like in here. Stuff like this. And I believe my favorite muscle was like this one, going like from here to here. I always like the dynamism and the shape it gives. Okay, redo the thumb. So it will basically go like this. I want it to be a bit thicker. And then it will go like this. Like thumb usually have this like really distinctive type of a shape. It's like knowing that the general shape of a thumb might be helpful. It won't solve all your problems, but it will solve some of them. And one of the things that I really often see that people are doing is skipping. Yeah, is skipping the best reference that you can have. That is basically, hopefully, always with you. That is your hand, or at least it should be with your hand. If you don't have like hand, it kind of sucks. Yeah, it might be a bit harder. So if you are struggling with drawing hand, just like keep it in front of you in a similar position. Actually, having an armed microphone finally helps, because I can like put my arm over it and I can like draw the entire hand, so I can like sketch it even in here. So 1, 2. Of course, on start I try to keep it a little bit more rough, so I'm kind of like searching for the interesting shape. I will just remove the entire arm, entire hand. I kind of feel, or I will just make a photo of my arm, of my hand, and send it to myself. This will be the easiest way. So I don't necessarily worry about the light setup. I kind of worry about the rotation and everything. So I believe something like this. So let me send it over to myself. I am here and send. Yep. Okay. Photo is sent. Also, it's extremely painful if you pull this muscle. So, yeah. Okay. Okay. Well. Yeah, so you can see how much a reference can give you. And my dirty ass keyboard. So this basically like unravels a lot of secrets. The geometry is a bit different, but I don't mind it. Just remove it from like underneath it, or underneath it I will actually make like a sketch for it. So I have something to like follow. The arc in here. It's muscle belly. I have watched first 3 episodes uh, because I'm on the poor side and I don't have Netflix, and my girlfriend has. But uh, the last time I visited her, we couldn't watch it, and she's waiting for me to like come over to her place and to watch it together. I do believe she has not watched it alone, but honestly, I admire her strength to not do so. The first 3 episodes were really cool. I hope to see more. But on the other hand, I kind of want them to like release all the episodes so then I can like binge watch all of them at the same time. This also sounds like a great plan, in my opinion. So yeah, but most likely she won't agree to this plan. So most likely I will watch it soon. But I have seen a lot of art. I have seen like everyone talking about it, and I do believe it's one of the nicest shows ever made. It looks really, it is really beautiful from the way they did it, and also it's full of subtle, like cool designs and everything. So I was enjoying it even more, especially even after time, like rediscovering everything and seeing some posts where people were like finding all the Easter eggs and everything. It was a cool thing. Also, it was kind of cool to watch because like back in the days, I used to play a lot of League of Legends, like really a lot. At some point, it was almost like an addiction because on the record I have like had like 3 or 4 thousand hours or something like this. So it was cool to see all the characters like animated and everything, like their backstory and whatnot. And for expensive, yeah, it had to be crazy expensive, honestly. It had to be extremely fucking expensive because they hire top artists and like everything from top to the bottom is top notch. They have Imagine Dragons like doing music for them, or at least doing like a one track. But I can imagine this alone is like more than I will ever earn in my entire life. So yeah, it had to be crazy expensive. But I mean, I can also imagine League of Legends is earning so much that it's not really a huge deal for them to pay like this much for a show or whatever, especially since most likely it will like double the amount of players that they have, because a lot of people will think that if the series are quality, the game is also quality, and the game is not bad, but as far as I know, community is still trash. So I heard this is like still one of the most toxic games out there, and I don't really want to like play any games that are toxic. For the games now, I am again stuck with Cyberpunk. I decided to like make a second playthrough, and the game is cool. It's still one of the best games I have ever played. The designs are cool, the world are cool, is cool, all the quests are cool. They fixed a lot of stuff, but I did not have many problems in the first place, so it's still extremely good game in my opinion. And also you can see how much better the hand looks like when it's actually like based off reference. I don't like this area. Go. And thanks for subscribing. I have no idea why I still do have the Descartes Kane voice. I changed it, but Streamlabs OBS just don't want to like change it. So yeah, it's like stuck on this thing. And when I change it, it just does not update. I have not a single clue why. But thanks for subscribing, and I don't know, I hope you will learn something in here or whatever. I feel the forearm is like really off in terms of the shape. It's like I feel it should go more like this, this. And then this should be that longer. Yeah, let me search for a reference. Arm reference. A really cool thing to search for while you are searching for references is to search for a 3D model. Because if you type reference, arm reference, or whatever, most likely you will find a lot of 3D models. And I did one. So, whoops. This type of a thing is really priceless because it's not like a perfect sculpture, but I can see it's really good. But it does show me it does solve the problem that I had. So it's basically like this curvature, small bump in here, and then a tricep, and this thing. So I basically rotated the bicep incorrectly, and I thought I will see a little bit more of a tricep, but that's right that I have the arm rotated, so this area will go slightly a little bit more like this, and there will be like a bump like in here. So oh yeah, this stuff is really priceless in terms of like drawing. And this is also the thing that I have been talking previously. I can't like maintain a really good line quality when I'm like when I don't know the geometry of a thing, when I don't know the exact shape and everything. I need to focus on a different thing, and now I should like lower the opacity and redraw it so it will look a bit nicer. Yeah, sketch file is also fine. Like, I mean, any 3D is really fine. To be honest, even if you will search like arm 3D, even if you will search for Let me find it. Okay, not something like this. I mean, okay. Maybe something like this to give a little bit more extreme example. This is like not the best reference in the entire world, but it will give you a basic understanding on like a really rough geometry of the things. Like you can understand what is going on in here, and being able to draw a character like this, like made out of like faces, like a really low poly character, will make it much easier for you to understand what you are drawing in here. So for example, in here, if I draw the thigh, like I can imagine that it is basically made out of faces that are like differently oriented in space. So yeah, it definitely helps. So for example, if I want to draw a knee or whatever, and I can place like a box in here, it gives me the general understanding of how the light will like interact with it. So I will know, for example, this area will be in the shadow, this area will be in the shadow, this area will be slightly in the shadow, and that this area will be a little bit more in the shadow, and that this face will be in the light, and this face will be in the light. So then I can connect it, let's say like this, roughly. And then if I will like just use a smudge, where's my brush? Like a smudge thing, then basically I will get somewhat okay-ish like values on how this area will be like I'm missing the word, shaded. So yeah, there is that. And usually when I'm drawing, I'm trying to like think on the geometry of things. And also this is one of the reasons why I really like drawing like all these like lines that are wrapping around the geometry, because it allows me to keep track on the shapes, on the geometry. So I will remember that, for example, this area in here goes like this and like this. It's just helpful, and it also looks cool as a surface detail. So yeah, drawing is just easier, a bit easier than. And in here I can also see like the tricep, like this cannonball type of a not tricep, shoulder muscle, the delt. It's creating like a nice crease in here. Like similar story in here. Like give him some bandages, wrap them around him. Then in here I expect the ankle to appear, and I always forget that the ankle on the left is like a bit lower. Then I can like add a plane for a geometry. I kind of want the legs to be on the same position, so from the top, like this leg is like this, and this leg is like this. So yeah, this area will be like really similar. And in here I will be able to see the toes a little bit more from the front. So for example, this big ass toe in here will look like this, more or less. Of course, there's a little bit more going on in here, but it gives me like the general understanding of the forms and everything that is happening in here. And the smaller finger to be like in here, and some like bony landmarks and everything. And this dude is like ready to go. Whoops. So yeah, it does look like here. This rock can be slightly bigger. This arm actually can be like much thicker. the things in here will be a bit thicker. The bicep, I can imagine, will be huge because he's like constantly having this like isometric hold with the stone. He's like constantly like putting weight in it on it. So I can imagine the bicep on his right arm will be really huge. And tricep too, because if he is like pushing the rock like in front of him, like basically straightening the elbow is done by the tricep. So it does mean he will be, why not, he will be having a huge triceps. So in here now I can make like a mask, and on the mask I can actually remove the area that I want to draw over. So I can remove parts of the legs without like removing them from the drawing. So I can always go back to this area. So I can like turn it off and on, but I will keep it off. Name this layer like, I don't know, cloth. Not really original. I also do have some references in here on how the cloth can behave. So it's cool. Like accidental reference, and I can like work on layers with this fella. So there is a bit more like happening in here. Of course, drawing cloth is like the entirely like separate topic. I like spend hours and hours explaining how the folds work and how to draw and paint cloth and everything. It's extremely complex topic and a lot is going on in here. But to give like the general understanding is if you have like the 2 points of pressure. So for example, this is like a hanging cloth. It will like bend slightly in here, and the points of the pressure will make it like the wrinkles go like this, more or less, in something like this. And of course, if you will like have a piece of cloth and you will like press it down, then it will like fold, create folds. Of course, not like this universal, but this is like the general rule for the folds. It will of course be a little bit more interesting in shape, but I feel this is the general idea. So yeah. And one of the coolest tips that I have ever heard about like designing stuff and like redesigning stuff or just drawing whatever from imagination, because this is pretty much from imagination, I could say. It's not that I'm like redrawing something, I'm just trying to figure something out, is to think not what the character could wear or like what he will be wearing, etc., etc., but to ask yourself some questions. For example, like, where do you see the character, and if you were there and you were to encounter this character, how you would expect him to look like. So like what parts of the wardrobe or whatever he has or she has or whatever it has would you expect to see. So for example, from a guy like this, definitely I would expect or maybe everything, you can just name it everything. Definitely I would expect to have some like necklaces or some other tribal stuff. So maybe they are primitive, but they are still like, they still like to wear some trinkets and stuff like this. I would expect the hair to be a little bit more messy, a little bit more dirty. So yeah, I found out after like years and trying to like design stuff that this approach really is like, it's just okay. It just works. Dreadlocks. Let me see. Dreadlocks. Some hairstyles. Dirty. Let's say dirty. Dirty dreadlocks. To see some. Some hairstyles. Dirty dreadlock bun. So how they will like not necessarily want to search for like a dirty dreadlocks, but what I mean by it is to search for some hairstyles so I can understand how they like tie those up, and maybe even I will be able to find a perfect reference. I also like the ball. I don't imagine this guy to have a ball on the head, but yeah, this gives me the general idea. Oh, okay, something like this, or maybe like this. This is too nice. Because in the end, I would like to go with something like this. So this is not like, let me copy it. This is not like a really clean type of a dreadlocks. It's kind of like messy. It kind of looks like it formed naturally. So I don't want them to be like perfect. I want them to be like this type of a thing, where the thickness really varies and they just look kind of like messy and everything. They look a little bit more natural in a sense, but to still keep them a little bit more believable. So this dude can like have all these different thicknesses on his head, but is still able to like tie them together somehow. So what I really wanted to have is like this like thing in here. Again, this is like refining a sketch after refining a sketch, but I still believe that sometimes you need to like go over a drawing like several times, so it will look just better in the end. So I want all this like individual hair strands to go over it, and giving some like details, like all this, like let's say small wooden decors on his head is definitely a thing a creature like this would do. Or maybe to pull in some some bones or whatever, like decor the wild ass hair that is happening in here. So it can be, the drawing can be a little bit more on the wild side of the things. Also, the dreadlocks generally I feel are really cool looking thing. I heard the opinion that they are not in particular like not nice but comfy to wear, especially when the rain drops, like when there's a rain, so then you have like this wet sponge on top of your head. A friend of mine used to have dreadlocks and he told me like this is the weirdest feeling ever, where the rain stops like raining and you feel the droplets like reaching your scalp after like several hours. So yeah, this is a weird thing to feel, like that the feeling is really odd. Okay. And also remember, because this is like a really often problem, sometimes when you place a reference too close, it will obstruct the area that you can draw in, and it will make you avoid this area. So this way you can like limit yourself by not drawing in there. So like remember, there's a little bit more space available usually if you're having a lot of references around you. So like removing some like shapes from here. Whoop. And in terms of painting this stuff, I have not a single clue how I would approach painting dreadlocks. Painting hair is like relatively hard, but painting dreadlocks to make them look good, this is a mission. I will kind of try most likely to emulate a bit of a Adrian Smith style in terms of rendering. I feel it will really fit. I especially want to try painting with this like overcast type of a light scenario because I extremely enjoy those type of artworks with this type of a style in them. So it will also make the entire thing a bit easier to unify like properly. But yeah, stuff like this. And also one of the things that I need to remember is the scale. So this dude is kinda big because if we have like a chart in here, this is like a human, more or less. I can imagine the orc being like a human-sized type of a creature. So if this is like a human, more or less like a little bit like, let's say, more head, then for example a skull, if this dude were to have a skull, it would be roughly the size of the inner part of his hand. So I just need to remember it that this is a case. So this dude can have like some bracelets and everything. This piece of cloth can actually be like made out of different parts of cloth, like being sewn together. So it will give it a little bit more like rugged look. And I feel like making it look a little bit more rugged is definitely a cool thing. I don't know if they would wear a belt. The Fata's belt would actually like fit really nicely in here. I do feel the entire thing needs to be, oh, of course you cannot warp it. I do feel, I mean, I can connect it, apply, no, don't apply, yeah, apply. I do feel the entire thing could get slightly distorted to this side, slightly to this side. Give him a little bit more space around him, so the references won't obstruct the view of the character. So I kind of feel the stomach area is a little bit odd, like the entire chest area. Something is not right in here. So I feel like this needs to be slightly reworked. But for his body, I kinda want him to be kinda a little bit more like this in the shape. So like the stomach will protrude to the front and he will have like some this type of stuff going on with his body. So he will be a little bit like not even. He will be like slightly tilted. So yeah. And I want this line to be a little bit more prominent. Like the chest line. And the stomach would move. I feel now the core looks a bit better. And the sad tits. I want the tits to be sad. So they will like kind of look like they are sitting over the body. So you have like a sphere, let's say. And now the like his chesticles are basically like wrapping around the sphere. Hello, Roman. Oh yeah, everything is fine. I had a fuckload of work to do and a lot of things to care of with like moving to a new place and organizing everything and yada yada, and I just felt not like streaming for quite some time because I just like when I could stream I just felt like playing games to kinda like zone out. But now everything kind of like gotten sorted out, and I can go back to streaming again. But yeah, all is fine. I hope the same applies to you, and I hope also everything is fine on your side. Like a rock. Do I want to give him a belt? I don't know, let's try. The belt actually is a really smart thing, especially if you're doing a heavy weight lifting, because it increases the internal pressure. It makes the Vulsava maneuver or something like this much easier, or I don't know if it's still Vulsava maneuver. It's basically when you like put a lot of air into your like frame, like the lower part of the frame, and you just like squeeze everything together, so everything is like really tight. And having like a thick belt allows you to like maintain the pressure better inside your guts, which really like does wonders in terms of protecting like your spine and everything. So I can't imagine like a creature like this to actually wear a belt. It would make a sense, especially since in here we have like a really nice looking belt. Like it looks really like, let's say, traditional and tribal. I can imagine this type of a belt to actually be used by trolls without offending Ben, of course. So, and it has like a nice thickness to it and a nice finish with all the holes and everything. So yeah. And actually what is really cool, what I really enjoyed, is when once I commented on Ben post that he's like the real MVP of powerlifting and the real MVP for art references, and that really often I use him for buff characters. And he followed me, which is really cool. I definitely will like tag him after finishing this character and pretty much every single buff character, because like in this case, even though I am drawing and not like lifting weights, without him, this drawing would not like end up the way it is. So is this like a... Oh, there's no like one of the big stuff in here. How the hell does it close? I don't know. Okay. I guess I will just make like one big thick thing, because those dudes have like a really fat fingers, so they do need some more fat belts and everything. Whoops. And also work-wise, everything is going really well. I feel like I'm developing quite some skills, and generally now in a good place. So everything is fine, and I do believe couldn't be better. Which I wish to everyone, to be in this state of mind. Really cool to be able to like chill from time to time. Whoops. And okay, if you, I am a huge Astral, of course this arm will be a little bit more wrapped with all the stuff. Maybe even the hand can be wrapped, like, because if he's like holding all the shit, I can imagine he is like at least slightly protecting his hands. And okay, maybe not protecting, but maybe you can make the grip a bit stronger. So yeah, something like this. And for the head, do we go with like generic bones sticking outside of the hair? Hell yeah, we go with it. So they have like a cool bone and they just stick it inside their head. Is it like a generic type of a detail? Of course. Does it look good? Absolutely not, so I will not add it. I don't like it. But I like those small, like... What is the word for them? Translate. Coralic. Bead. Okay. Beads. Yeah, beads, of course. So to add all the beads and everything. For a character like this, that has to be a little bit more grumpy. For a character like this, nose ring. Actually, this is one of the things that I'm really guilty of. If I could, I would slap a nose ring to every single design that I do. There is something in the nose rings that I just feel it's a cool detail. Like it just looks cool. I really like the type of a thing it does to a face. So yeah. The Czech Republic. Ooh, nice. Nice. Oh yeah, yeah. I do help on this project. So yeah. But cannot say any more things. But from the things that open beta was released, some of the things that I have done in there are already out. But I don't think I can say what. But yeah. But there's like a lot of other things going on, also a lot of other cool projects that I can talk about, but it's cool. So yeah. And some nips. If you are a troll, you need to have nips. So yeah. Everything is cool. Whoops. It's a bit more like stuff happening in here. Yeah, but now I'm more like focusing to just generally develop like drawing skills and designing skills. So yeah. Thanks a lot. Yeah, it feels nice, but I mean, one of the things is like, of course, it's a really cool type of a thing, but in the end, I still need to remember, like, it's still a job. It's extremely cool job, I would say, but it's still, in the end of the day, it's still a job. So I don't want to get like utterly crazy over it, but true, it's a really great opportunity, and I'm happy I do have it. So yeah. But honestly, I do really wonder how the game will actually play. I have seen the open beta type of a stuff, or open alpha, or open whatever, and people were actually saying it's a good game. So it turns out it might not be an out of season April Fool jokes. So maybe it will actually be a really cool game. Design wise, I'm 100% sure that this game will be absolutely beautiful and absolutely cool. I wonder how they will handle all the like monetization and everything, because as far as I know, it is going to be like, it is free to play type of a thing. It will be a free to play type of a thing. So I wonder how they will tackle it. But I heard a lot of people like saying it's like pay to win, but I mean, it's like hack and slash and it's free. So you can expect them to put some monetization in it. Otherwise, how they will like make money or whatever. So yeah. Yeah, but for the projects, I mean, Generally speaking, based from experience, the best projects are the ones that you start by yourself. The workplace is it's a great place to learn a lot of new things. But if you really want to make some cool projects, like your own stuff definitely will always be the best, because there you can like just do everything that you want. You can like design everything on your own. Can be like in a sense your own boss and everything. So honestly, Miblert is. Do I have a chat on a screen? Wait. Have I turned it off? Is it not working? Of course it's not working. Can you see a chat on a screen, like on YouTube? Here we go. Shit is not working as always. It should be working. Why it's not working? I don't know. Okay, does not really matter. There is. It is, but it is extremely small. Can you write something? Wait. Because it's so small. I don't really wonder you can see it. Yeah. But of course, as I said, there will be some technical problems, so I delivered. Done. Yeah. And it disappears really quickly. It shouldn't do so. Properties, where is the always show messages? Okay, can you write something? Now it should always show messages, but it clears the chat every time I change the setting. Well, oh yeah, now it's bigger. Now you can actually. I have not a single clue. Can you write like a really long message, like a really long wall? Oh, it's also cut from the side. The hell? Why it is cut from the side? The shit is going. Whoa, no. No, this stretches it. No. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Where do I put it so it will be like visible? Properties. Font, text, color, okay, chat, source, font settings. You cannot do anything. Visual settings. Okay. Theme, boxed. What? No, boxed. I don't want boxed. Twitch. How do Twitch chat look like? Oh, the Twitch chat seemed to be nice. Done. Yo, the chat should be in here right now. On the screen. So you will be able to communicate from Twitch to YouTube. With some delay, of course, but it should work. The first time when I started doing live stream, I thought that I need to have figured out everything from the start so it will look professional and everything, and that it will be like good from the get-go. This is the biggest lie ever, and it's impossible to like do. Every single time there is something other not working. Is it just If anyone would ever try to convince me that it's possible to like predict everything that could happen, they are liars. It is impossible. Long story short, it cannot be done. Okay, so some beads and stuff like this. I really don't like the shape of this thumb. I don't know what's wrong with it. The thumb has this like really distinctive type of a shape. It's like a bit wider. So why it's not looking okay-ish? Might be the fact that I'm looking at it from the top. Yeah. This forearm is really thin. Should be much thicker. I kind of feel this hand is a bit too big. Should be smaller. This is actually one of the things that I noticed a lot of artists do. They really tend to make the hands extremely big on their creatures. Like the hand is relatively big, but it's not like huge. A lot of like fantasy creatures have this like really weird as looking proportions to their hands, to a point where it starts to look a bit like caricature. I honestly don't think like a monster, that a huge monster would have like this. Yeah, the chat is looking like shit. Why it is still no? The Twitch chat does not look good. Properties. Wait. Twitch no. Clean. Done. First one. Just what? Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I really do like in working like, let's say, professionally. I mean, like to work professionally, because it's hard to not work professionally if you are working in the field, is the fact that you will do stuff that otherwise you will like never touch. Like there is like zero chance of you starting a project like this. So this is what I do really enjoy about stuff like this. Now I feel the head needs to go a little bit more forward. So this is definitely a huge thing for progression. So you will just like naturally pick up topics that are just, yeah, the head in here looks better. You will pick up topics that are just out of your comfort zone, and this is huge. Like the fact that you can do something like this is great, and especially if you're like, I don't know, art director, supervisor, or whoever like looks over your projects, is extremely skillful artist or is much more skilled than you, then it's like a double win, because you are also going to learn from someone with much more experience. And I'm happy to be in a place like this, because like, my art director is extremely cool and is extremely helpful and knows a lot of stuff and is always happy to help. So this is a great thing to like to improve your skills. So yeah. So, here, the entire neck area, the chesticle starts to look like decent, I would say. Maybe the rock. Can be a bit bigger. But still getting hit, like getting thrown with a rock like this. Oh, this boy, this would hurt a lot. This would be a painful thing to go through. What else a character like this? Maybe he's like tapping it over his fingers too. What else a character like this could like wear? Go like this. How does it look like without the underlay? It looks okay. I don't really like the placement of this leg. It should go a little bit more to the side. It felt like in here it feels disconnected from the pelvis. Now it does feel connected to the pelvis, and I can imagine the cloth like wrapping around in here a little bit more. Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like my opinion is if you will just continue doing what you like, at some point someone will like it and you will just start getting some commissions. It's always like this. In my case, one of the best decisions that I have made was to like one guy just contacted me about some freelance stuff, and he still has this really cool project that is called Amphisbena RPG. Let me write it. Amphisbena. Well, Amphisbena RPG. And he was like, okay, like he wanted to buy some licenses for some artworks that I have done. Let me like just keep it in here. Some licenses for some artworks, and I was like, this project is really cool, and I was willing to like help him to illustrate some things, basically for like the fracture of a price. But since he had extremely cool ideas, I was like, yeah, like this basically is the same thing that I would do on my own, but you just provide me a cool, like basically a really cool as fuck description and some constructive feedback, because his feedback was really cool, is really cool. And I was basically kind of like helping him, I mean professionally, I would say for free, and like artworks I have done for him like basically provided me with job, because like I started doing stuff that I would not come up with without like his help, without his briefs, and the, let's say, free artworks gave me job. So yeah, if you have like occasion to help someone with your stuff, it might be a good thing. Of course, I don't advocate to work for free. Never ever do it. Like, I mean, do it sometimes if you feel it can like benefit you in somehow, or if you just really enjoy the project, or if you just like the project, but don't overdo it. I believe someone like said like 80% of the things that you do should be commercial, and 20% something of the things you do should be like charity type of a stuff. So yeah, it definitely won't hurt. So yeah, in my case, as I said, in my case, it allowed me to like find some cool opportunities, especially since in the project a lot of cool artists are still like listed because they licensed their artworks to him. So to the guy who is working on it, to Sławomir, and it was also cool in my opinion to be like, okay, I want to be a part of this project. Okay, let me get one dude who has like a really nicely defined veins, because in this case, even though Ben is huge, there's always Ronnie Coleman, who is like huger, like big biceps. Like intelligence is important, work is important, but big biceps are importanter. So yeah, but you can see like basically this garden hose instead of a veins. And even though the skin is thick, I do believe some veins will like still pop out. So yeah. And bodybuilders have like the craziest veins. So if you need to see how a vein look like, Ronnie Coleman is like the vein MVP. There's like veins everywhere. And I kind of like this character to be a little bit more veiny, even though the skin is thick. And also, what is really cool, what I always liked, with it looks like a human is sitting on top of here. So soon I will. Yeah, but if you remove it like this, it basically looks like a shoulders. So yeah. But I mean, if you want to learn anatomy, it's cool. Did you do cold emails? How did you find your current work, or how did they find you? I actually never searched for work. Like I never sent any email to anyone to get work. Like never. It never happened. At some point when I was thinking maybe about like moving abroad, only then I made like a CV. I like cobbled a portfolio more or less, and only then I sent like a CV to several places. But it was not like I am needing a job. It was more like if any of these companies replies and tells me they want me in, like in house, then I'm going abroad and like let the life happen. But only one company responded that they are not hiring. But if I would work on my environments and everything, they would be happy to contact me after like a year, because they told me like they will be hiring after a year. I do believe it was Redlinks studio in Finland, I think, or something like this. But this was like the only studio that replied. And other than that, for my current job, the thing that, as far as I know, apart from the other reasons, but this was the thing that my art director told me that they enjoyed about me, is the fact that I am doing a little bit more of a dark type of an artworks. And this artwork basically gave me, like, this was one of the reasons, one of the main reasons as far as I know, that I got hired, because it showed that I can use 3D, I can paint over it, and the image looks okay. And I got, I don't know, a lot of likes on it, so I think it looks okay. So this was like a reason. And yeah, this is how they find me. I do believe the fact that I am from Poland also helped, because like Poland is a little bit more on the poor side. So kind of being from a poor country give you an edge, because you can, I do not advocate it, but you can work for a bit cheaper and still make a good living in the place when you are living, but your prices can be like really concurrent. This is a word. Concurrencyjne. Competitive. The prices you can offer can be competitive. But yeah, but the other problem it creates, you have a really hard time properly valuing your artwork, because as far as I saw recently, I believe Shamak Roshani, or however to pronounce it, did a pool where people were like clicking how much they earn, and to see like how people in game dev are earning. And it turns out like 80% of people working in the industry are heavily underpaid. So this is like the other edge of the sword. Honestly, even though I wouldn't say I'm bad with talking with clients and talking about money and everything, I would say I do have a lot of problems with properly pricing my artworks. But yeah, but this is a thing. So yeah, everything happened through the art station to this point. A lot of stuff on the beginning happened through DeviantArt, but later almost everything happened through ArtStation and through like I do know something and someone knows someone that needs work and I was available and yeah. Yeah, I mean this is an edge. One friend of mine used to live in Romania, I do believe, and Romania is really poor, and he basically could work, like he could offer like a quarter of a price, and he will still live like a king in his hometown. So like this is a huge edge for him, like because I mean if he would offer a normal price to be a little less competitive, but the skill set will be the same. I mean, he will live like a king, like four kings, or I don't know how many kings. He will live like a prince and a king and a queen at the same time. But yeah, we can say living in a poor country allows you to say like, okay, I can do this for this much and this much, and still do okay-ish money. Of course, you can always earn more, but yeah. In this case, I do also believe about the thing that Feng Zhu, I believe, was speaking. That, for example, if like a bigger IP contacts you and they want you to work exclusively on their thing, there are like two scenarios. One of them is like they will pay you much better because they are like a huge studio and they like basically have money, or like a huge project, they have money, they are properly funded and everything, and they will like basically shower you with gold, let's say. But the other thing is they can tell you that okay, we are giving to you this and that, and they will offer much less than they should. But the fact that you are going to work on this project is basically means that if you do well, you will never be like without a job. You will always have like a steady like source of commissions and everything because you worked on this, because you met people and everything. So in my case, I do believe there is something in it. Like it shouldn't be like that, but personally, I don't have problems. Like for example, to be paid less to work on a cooler projects. I do believe like there will be time where I will be like let's say earning as I should be, but I need to level up my skills extremely more to feel good with it. Because for example, now if I would earn like let's say five times as I do, I would just feel bad. Like in a sense that I mean I will feel good because the money goes brr, but I will feel bad because I wouldn't feel my earnings reflect my skill set, which is also a huge problem for a lot of artists that they cannot evaluate their skills properly. So this is another thing that might be problematic. So never rely on your own evaluation of your skill. Let others evaluate you. So yeah. And a cool tip for getting commissions: if a client agreed to a price on a first try, like you said, let's say, I don't know, $500 per illustration, and if they said okay, it means your offer was too low because they agreed, they were most likely ready for more. They are not like trying to lower the price, they are not trying to lowball anything. So my general advice is if the client is not like lowballing, is not trying to go lower, then it means you just set too low. If they agree immediately, then you fucked up with pricing. But it will happen. Like messing up with pricing is like a natural part of developing as an artist. You will do it many times. It will happen a lot. You will underprice yourself a lot of times. This is just a natural way of going. Also, a good tactic is to just increase your fees per like several percent every single time you finish a commission, or if you get like a new project from the same client, just inflation and other stuff, just increase the price. So yeah. So it should like go in hand. Yeah. I do feel like giving him like a nipple piercing. But yeah. A little bit less veins in here. There is this area in here that's like really cool because the bicep is basically having like a tendon. So if you have like a bicep, let's say this is like a bicep, it's split into like two heads, but there's like this part of a tendon that is connecting to a bone like beneath it, and in here you have other muscles and everything, but you still can see a part of this tendon. I always liked this detail in here, so I will just like try to introduce it in here. I would say you can renegotiate. It happened to me several times that I said like a fixed price, but I know I load bailed heavily, and I said like, yo, okay, I know like I screwed up with the pricing. I like underestimated how much work it will be, and that I had to like renegotiate the thing. And I would say it is in a bad taste. It can leave like a bad taste with a client, especially if this is like a new client. I did it like 4 or 5 times on the beginning of my commissions and everything, and it was always like, like there was a bit of like acid relationship because of it. But on the other hand, sometimes if you just low bail it, you will just like, okay, I fucked up. I will like remember to not do it next time. But the thing is, if you are like setting a price before starting working on anything, always have an agreement. Without like the agreement, just don't even start working, don't even think about starting working. If the client is like, oh, we need to rush it, we have a tight deadline, then they should have all the agreements and everything prepared beforehand for you to sign them quickly, to go through them quickly, so they won't waste any type of a time. So never work without agreement. This is like the biggest tip I could give you. Check in the agreement what is the time frame for they to pay you. This is also important because several times I got agreements where they said they will pay me this much and this much, and the offer was really good, but the time frame for the payment was not specified, which basically meant they will pay me, but they are not obliged to pay me like right now or in a month. They can pay me in like 100 years, where I can be like already dead, and yeah, I would not, yeah, I would just won't get this money. It does happen sometimes. Especially since a lot of artists are extremely bad with agreements and they are afraid to renegotiate them. So don't be afraid to renegotiate agreements. But if, for example, you are working for a client, let's say you need to make 10 illustrations, and let's say you have, I don't know, 2 months or something like this, and you will manage to deliver everything like faster, everything will be like better quality than expected, like everything would go smooth, and let's say, just to make the math easy, you get paid like $1,000 per 10 illustrations. Never agreed to this type of a wage, but let's say for the sake of math, to make it easier, if everything went extremely smooth and the client is extremely happy. The next time, most likely they will come to you and they will ask, okay, can you, for example, do another set of 10 illustrations? The deadline is the same, everything is the same, and you already have established like relationship, let's say, you know they will pay and everything. Then if you have like a good relationship with a client, then the agreements and everything can be like, okay, kind of maybe not skipped, but delayed in time to allow like people making the agreements to work a bit better or for the project to go smoother. But of course you can also expect the payment to increase, so you can, like, I don't know, say, okay, I can do the same thing, but now it will cost more, not only because your skill level is now higher because you are like 10 illustrations more skilled, but also you proved yourself that you deliver and the client knows that there won't be problems with you. And as far as I know, sometimes the clients, like, let's say 3 out of 4 clients would prefer an artist that they can like count on and that will deliver on time, that won't cause problems in the production pipeline, over the art, and that is also less skilled, over the artist who is much more skilled but causes the problems, delays and everything. So it's like, it's better to just be reliable. This is like extremely important. I believe this is also the thing that oh my god, how, what his name was, the last artist was with him, not Peacock. Oh my god, my brain. I'm sorry for forgetting. It was Mikowai, but Nicolas K. With Nicolas K. I do believe he told me this. Actually, if you want to get a lot of insight from the art director point of view, go watch the art talk with Nicolas K. because he used to be an art director as far as I know, and yeah, and he knows a lot of stuff. So yeah, okay, I do believe I will be like wrapping this up because there's not much I can do with this fella right now. I'll just make things slightly thicker here and there. Only try to like make the deltoid a little bit more visible. So yeah, I mean, it sounds scary in terms of like learning, and believe me, it's not that bad. It's like with everything that you learn that is new to you. It seems overwhelming, but in the end, you will like fuck this up 3 or 4 times, and you will be like, okay, it's not so scary. And yeah, this is, it's much easier than it seems to be, honestly. Just just don't be afraid. Also, a really cool thing in terms of like building up confidence is actually try to record yourself when you are doing an illustration. So let's say you want to make an illustration, try to record the process and then try to narrate it. In my case, it blew my confidence through the roof the first time I managed to do this properly, because it basically unlocked this something in my brain that was like, I need to talk with sense in a given time frame about things that I need to talk with sense about. So I would say this is a really cool exercise that you can do to actually make the life a bit easier for you as an artist. Or yeah. And also remember, usually the smaller clients, there's this really good meme. It's a small client meme. There's this really good meme that extremely nicely sums up every single relationship with every single client that I ever had. It's something like this. So yeah, like the low budget client will basically like write you 10 emails and they will be like writing books about feedbacks and everything. And the expensive client will be like, yeah, fine, cool, agreed, fix this, fix that, and it's done. So expect like more private commissions to be much more personal. So yeah, it's also good to get interested in things. This is also one of the mistakes that a lot of people make, as far as I know. try to place yourself in a position of a client. And usually if you're in an artist, don't start with like talking about money. Just spend, I don't know, half an hour to ask for about the project. Just get interested in the project, because it might sound cool on the first like shot, but then it will turn out it's not a cool project, because you will learn more details. So learn like why, how, when, with what do you want, what you don't want. Like just make a solid research before like starting any project, because maybe you will ask the questions that they don't even know the answers for, and maybe it will make it easier for them to like organize everything properly. So yeah, just ask a lot of questions. Like if you are going to, for example, make 10 designs and 5 illustrations, ask a fuckload of questions and get the answers that you think you might need. And in the end, who ask don't like roam around without a purpose, or however the expression goes, something along those lines. It was not like this, but yeah, but I think you get the point. So yeah, I guess this will be all for today. So I did this. It's like a base. I will send it to get a critique on it, on the anatomy and everything. So I guess on the next stream I will like fix everything most likely, because I can imagine how the critique and overpaint will go, and they will tell me like this and that fix, and then I will try to learn better. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you find it interesting or whatever. I'll fix like this curve because it annoys the shit out of me. So for something like this, and yeah, I will try to like stream a little bit more often, though. So yeah, maybe on the next stream I will tell some cool stories that I had with some clients, because some of them were like out of the roof special. But yeah, this will be for another stream. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see ya. Have a good day. And I don't know, Gotham Chess says like get out or something like this. So go draw or whatever. See ya. And subscribe and like. If you dislike the video, I won't even know, because YouTube removed dislikes. So yeah.